So wait, y'all, let's talk about the movie Eve's Bayou for a second because I was like a young teen when this movie came out, and I used to watch this movie all the time because it used to come on over and over again, first of all, on HBO. That was their favorite movie. I don't care what nobody say because every time you looked up, it was on. But every time it came on, I watched it, and I just love the movie so much, but it didn't really dawn on me what was really happening on that movie. Like, I knew things, like, especially what was going on in their marriage and the dad being a doctor and him also being a player. Like, I knew the premise, but I didn't really understand what was going on in that movie. So let's talk about that for a second. First of all, this was probably the best looking cast in a movie ever. Like, I don't know. I can't think of any other movie, with the exception of probably Wait Until Exhale, that everybody was drop dead gorgeous. Lynn Whitfield was in the movie. Diane Carroll was in the movie. Debbie Morgan was in the movie. Like, all of the girls were given face all across the board. Roz was married to this no good doctor that, now that I'm older, I don't even know if he really was a doctor. He probably was out there serving D. Because every time you looked up, Lewis was putting the moves on somebody, and it wasn't his wife. In the very beginning, Eve catches her father humping this lady in the wine cellar, and she knew what was going on, but her being a kid, I don't think she was 100% sure of what she saw or what was actually going on, because she had ran off into the wine cellar because the dad was dancing with the older sister at a family gathering, and she got jealous, so she ran off, hid in the cellar, and she fell asleep in there. She woke up to all of this commotion from stuff falling from her dad knocking some chick off in there. So she tells her older sister, and her older sister tells her, like, girl, that is not what you saw. She made up this whole little story, and I don't know whether the little sister believed it or not, but I know she knew what she saw. I think Eve was a lot closer to her Aunt Moselle because her Aunt Moselle actually entertained her. And she also picked up on the fact that she had similar capabilities as her Aunt Moselle, because the aunt was a psychic and she used to do readings at their house. Eve was always kind of like close by when the people would stop by to get readings done by the aunt. So she would like listen in, but she was just being a kid. She was listening, but she was pretending like she wasn't. Now, they tried to pretend like the aunt was crazy, but her predictions and all the stuff she used to be saying did turn out to be true. But let's pivot away from that storyline and talk about the older sister, Cicely, because I was always confused about what really happened between her and her father, because she told her sister that the dad basically was trying to hit. So that's kind of like sent Eve over the edge. And she basically was saying that she was going to kill him. So she meant business. She went on down to the other voodoo lady that used to be at the little market that they would go to. And she paid that lady $20. And the next thing you know, the dad was no longer with us. And then after he passed away, she had found a letter that her dad had wrote stating that the incident occurred, but it was the other way around. So she went back to the sister and asked her what really happened. And then the conclusion that the sister came to was that she didn't know. And the conclusion that I came to was, I don't know either. Like, what actually really happened? Because in my mind, today, what I think happened is, I think the daughter tried to be some type of toy to the father so that they could keep it in the family and he wouldn't step out and be with all of the women that were in the area that they lived in. I'm leaning more towards the daughter lied. I think Cicely lied, and the fact that her little sister got the dad up out of here for $20, it's a tough crowd. I definitely thought that this movie was going to have a part two, but here we are almost 30 years later and it didn't. But I needed an explanation. What do y'all think happened in the movie? I also wanted to know more about Moselle's life because it seemed like her story was so crazy too. And that would have made for a good film as well. But it's like all of the stuff that you be wanting to see more of, you never get any of it. And all the bull crap that you don't want to see, you look up, they be coming out with part 4 and 5.